This is the revealing truth of my mother. I was born in the early 90s. Um, time I was born, my mother was married to my biological father. I had an older brother, then I had a younger brother, a year and a half after. They split up when I was about 4 years old. Since then, she was supposed to get married to another guy, uh, Randy, I believe his name was. We grew up, his son was our cousin. Then she got married to another guy, Donald, from her job. Um, they lived together. We all lived in South Holland for a while. They split up. And then another guy named Michael came in the picture, which ironically was my biological father's name. She took him in. I was about 7 years old, 6, 7 years old. Took him in. In the midst of that, she had conflict with my biological father. Um, and the conflict they had nothing to do with us, but me being a man and having a child myself. Um, I started to grow an understanding of the conflict, of not understanding why it happened. Well, I understand why it happened on both ends, but just understanding the causes that created the results that happened. So unfortunately, on my birthday, my seventh birthday, my mother was attacked by my biological father and his wife at the time, to try to get us to force us to come with him for the weekend. Prior to that, we didn't go over there for the past couple weekends. I told him verbally over the phone why I didn't want to come over there. We'd be bored, there don't be nothing to do, things of that nature. So the day of, my mother wanted us to tell him in person. I'm like, we can just tell him on the phone. It's my birthday. Like, I just want to go outside. Cause no, we can just tell him in person so he don't think I'm keeping y'all away from him, this and this and that. And I can remember it vividly like it was yesterday. We met in front of my uncle's building, or my auntie's building, my uncle's ex-wife. And the police was down the street, didn't see or hear anything, or probably didn't want to. It was like 2 blocks down. They came after the fact. Um, I remember the whole altercation. Um, my biological father tried to put us in the car. My mother's beating up his wife. Then he came to help, and that's when he dislocated her shoulder and broke her wrist. Um, but ever since then, my relationship with my mother has never been the same. Um, it's like a deep down hate, but I can't hate her back. The best thing I can do is keep my distance. So around that time in school, I was very, 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 very intelligent, and I was reading at a high school or college level in the second grade. So they naturally asked my mother to skip grades. I found out as an adult from her ex-husband that they told them no, based on her ex-husband's child or whatever he had going on. They still gave me work, upperclassmen work. Um, that following year, I ended up transferring back to the city to CPS. And in the city, they don't really pay attention to. They pay attention to the academics. I should say they pay attention closely to the academics. They just don't have any funding, and they have limited resources to accommodate those intelligent children. Um, but they want to skip me as well. I won a lot of awards. We had a Black History contest. My team got first place out of all the grades. I was in third grade. It was up to eighth grade. Different classes. It was like 4 classes, like 6 classes per grade. We won first place. I was on a newspaper team. Um, Only third grader on the newspaper team. So it was a lot. We had wear uniform. And at that time, me and my brother had to share a bed. I slept at the bottom, he slept at the top. Um, the house we was in, it had mice sometimes, so it was a lot of mouse traps. It was very uncomfortable to sleep because you had to keep the sheets off the floor just in case a mouse or something climbs up. And one day, I believe a mouse jumped on my back, and I ran, fell, hit my knee, ran up the stairs. And then your kids just try to run to your mom, something happened. And I ran upstairs, ain't nothing happened. Um, but pretty much, it was a lot of struggle. My mother was a bartender at the time. She was working at the post office as a manager or supervisor at the time, and then was bartending as a part time at night, on weekends, things of that nature. Um, we ended up moving back to the suburbs. She was still with the last guy, the ex-husband at the time, even though they was back and forth. He had 6 kids. I come to find out that my mother was paying his child support. The terms of us living, of him being in our life when he came in. Once he came into our lives, I believe I was 7. We didn't have any more Christmases. His kids had Christmases. Made sure his kids had Christmas. Um, Dinners was different. It was more so catered to him and her, and we had to get what was left over or what was available. He ate first, or he tried to make everyone's plate, and I never agreed with that or understood that, so I just stopped. I wait till the food is in the kitchen, and I get my own plate. Um, that was going on when I was a kid. One time, he ended up being naked, making food, and I'm like, "No, nah, I'm not eating. I didn't eat that night." And I told my older brother why. My mother laughed. They thought it was funny, but I was a 10-year-old kid and watched another man be naked making dinner for a family that's not his. Had me feel a type of way because you wouldn't even do that in front of your own kids. I wouldn't do that in front of my child, even though I have a daughter. But he never had the chance to actually raise his own kids, to my knowledge. So this was new to him, and it wasn't his kids, but he was around kids. So it was like I fuck with them kids, but them ain't my kids type of relationship. He was cool though, but nah, man, he used to be tripping. So my mother, my younger brother used to always have bad grades. So I did. I was at the top of the class. I was supposed to be in different upper classes. So he get in trouble. His grades, she'd be yelling for hours, complaining. And then she'd come to me and say, "Do I need to give you a whooping about something? Do I need to do something to you?" I would look at her. I would always look at her. And that never sat well with me because I was a kid, but I hung out with older people. And hanging out with older people, sometimes you get into certain things where your age can't be your excuse. So I took that as highly disrespectful and as a challenge, as if I was beneath her, and basically giving her just give her a reason to whoop me because she waiting for a reason. Oh, we're just waiting on a reason to punish me. So it's always been like that with her. If any mysterious things. One time she kicked me out the house because my brother put a fork in the sink, and she said no dishes in the sink. She attacked me first, then told me to get out of her house. Um, I was 17 then. Time before that, she kicked me out. We was just coming from the gym with my older brother, and her ex-husband was talking to my younger brother in a tone in a certain manner that I didn't like, and I told him He wasn't gonna do nothing. So we pulled up to the house. A situation with a bike of my friends, and my other friend had got his bike stolen, so he held it at my house. And I guess my friend's mother, we handled the situation, but my friend's mother wanted her son bike regardless that she got hurt. Got another person, her son got another person's bike stolen. So I wasn't gonna get the bike. My mother's ex-husband got the bike, and I'm like, shit, we can box, we can do whatever. Shit, I fight grown men on a regular. I was 15 at the time, so my mother kicked me out. So I'm walking. My little brother follows me, so she finds me. I don't know if he called her or what. I don't know. She takes me back to the house. I stay on the porch because I didn't want to go in the house. It's about 2, 3 in the morning. I see a car pull up. I'm asleep with my head in my lap. It's my older brother. He's talking about, you think you're a man, and he just started jumping on me. I never understood how we had a problem, and we was just playing ball together. Things was cool. Um, I never looked at him the same after that. He was always my mother's puppet. Because I never understood how she can. He didn't even ask me what happened, but his fist was flying, and I was asleep on the porch. So hindsight, he attacked someone that wasn't even aware of being attacked or defending themselves, which shows all fighters and all warriors. You don't attack someone that is defenseless and is unaware of your attacks. Um, Even if you have war with someone, you know you at war with someone. Um, and he went to the military. He's a police officer. But that day, me now as an adult looking back, that day showed me that my older brother never really got into real fisticuffs with people or actual conflict with people. Because if you actually been in conflict with people and you're a champion, the first thing, even if you're not a champion, the first thing you try to do is resolve the situation communicatively. No matter if it's about anything, long as it's not harming you or your child, you're not going to go into a situation guns blazing or fist fury. And I realized that he thought he was being an older brother, doing what his mama told him, but he wasn't being a man. And the point of him coming over was to chastise me about checking her ex-husband. And as a man, I told him we can get it on, we can box, and he turned it down. He could talk crazy to my mother, say he turned it down or whatever because he didn't want to hurt me or whatever. But you got my older brother, which was an adult as well, fresh from the military, fresh police officer. Um, Man, I was on the honor roll. I was doing a lot of things. Anything I was doing, nobody got wind of it or brought back home. I wasn't perfect. I definitely got into some what people could consider as trouble. I was always in it for the profits, business only. Anything I did. Um, but that was my childhood, my upbringing with my mother. No love, no support. Birthdays horrible. I got a cake one year, a caramel cake. I think I was 17. That was pretty good. Other than that, I never really got anything from my mother. She tried to keep the house stocked with food, excuse me, but I had to cook. And I had to make something for my younger brother, and he was about a year and a half apart, a year, a couple months. And he used to complain, argue. He was very highly jealous and envious. and she encouraged the behavior, said it was normal. I never thought of that as normal. He would steal from me. She said it was normal. She didn't steal from me, and I had to threaten her ex-husband at the time that when he comes home, I'm just gonna beat him because I know he got my money. She said that I was drunk. I don't know what I'm talking about. I said, well, when I came home, I took my clothes off, counted my money, then went to sleep. I always count my money before I go to sleep. She was unaware of this. She assumed that since I was drinking underage, that I have no cognizance or no common sense. 10 minutes later, she called me back upstairs in her room. She said, look on the dresser. There go my money folded. I think it was like $150, $160, maybe $200. Um, Prior to me getting that car that they supposedly gave me that I had to fix, I had a few $100s, at least $400 missing. Um, I never said anything, but I know I don't get shit for free. Um, and I had to fix the car. And then on the day before school, my mother's ex-husband was drunk. It was a Sunday afternoon. My car was parked behind his. He has a pickup truck. He pulled up, reversed back, hit the car, started laughing. The alarm was going off. The alarm eventually went off. He came back in the house, said he hit the car. Whole time I was watching him outside the window. I was like, he ain't gonna ask me to move the car. And then the extra key was on the table. I'm like, he ain't gonna move it. Um, so what's so ironic is that next week I had to take him to work every morning because his truck was, he was letting his guys use it to go to work in the morning while he was at his job as a custodian. I believe he was a custodian or a janitor, whatever. Um, so yeah, that's what happened my senior year. I had to uh, tape my grill to my car, or like use fucking wire wraps. It was just crazy. So she ended up breaking up with him my senior year. Throughout that my senior year, she all of a sudden had a curfew for me. Never had a curfew my whole life. Um, it was funny because I never made curfew, and we used to get into it because of something that I told her wasn't gonna happen. So, um, man, I remember one day after graduation, after I graduated, no, homecoming. Before I get there, homecoming. My brother, I wanted to use my brother's truck. My mother's car was down. I didn't want to use my car because the grill's missing. And I was going with myself. And she's like, "Yeah, take your brother to the homecoming." I'm like, "I'll take him." Uh, so you gotta take his date too. I'm like, "Well, no, because that girl been trying to talk to me for years, and she only asked him to just get under my skin." My brother knew what it was. My younger brother, he didn't care. He was just happy. He was an underclassman going to a senior homecoming or whatever. He was sick too. So I'm like, no, I ain't doing all of that. So I broke it down to my older brother why. I'm like, man, she fake messed with my other buddy and I'm cool. Like she was just thirsty for me and she was using him. Like I know what she on. So somehow me and him got into it. As I'm getting dressed, while I was in the closet, my back was turned. He attacked me. I was laughing at him and shit. I'm like, what you wanna, you finna snake me or something? What you trying to box? And this nigga just attacked me from the back. It was funny at the time of me saying it because it was like I felt his energy because he was trying to find a way to get upset about something. And and it's crazy because it's like That's my older brother, and it's like it's people that you fight in life that you don't mind fighting because it's like, all right, I'm just whoop your ass. But if your older brother and you know he didn't did a lot of training, did a lot of fighting, a lot of things, and I know it would kill him if I beat him up. So I always end up in a laughing kind of mood with him because it's not like I seen him fighting or grew up watching him or know him from fighting. So it was always interesting. But we got into it. My mother jumped in and jumped on me and held me down while he was hitting me. That was weird. His wife came in, broke it up. Uh, she seen what was happening. So I ended up going to the party, drunk as hell. Got drunk. My guys got me drunk. Um, that night the car stopped. My mother had to come with the jumping cables. I went home. We left the hotel. I went home. She says, "You don't want you doing nothing. Woo. I ain't going nowhere the next day." I was fucking half hungover anyway. Then the next day went back outside like it was nothing. Mm, yeah, there was a lot of every morning. My mother used to call me my senior year. She heard I got out early. I ain't really had classes because I was always in the upper classes. I had like 4 or 5 classes, like 2 or 3 of them was gym classes. She would curse me out every day on her lunch break at 12. Was it 12:30 or 1 o'clock? Every day, the whole lunch break, cursing me out about a job, whatever, whatever. It got to a point where I would put the phone on mute, put it on speaker, and she would say, "Get off the phone, get off the fucking phone," or whatever. Or she'll just hang up, and I would lay down, take a nap. My partner was like, "Man, she does that every day, bro." I'm like, "Yeah," you know what I'm saying? And we laughed. He's like, "Man, that's crazy." And I would stay at his house just to avoid her. Because I mean, I was just trying to graduate and figure my life out at that point. I didn't think me being homeless would make any sense. I could have though. I definitely would have went to a shelter or something that took me and just figured things out, knowing what I know now. But I didn't know what I know now. So then I ended up going to JUCO. My mother volunteered for a loan or to help me. I was gonna pay it back. That didn't work out. Um, I ended up having to get her money back ASAP after like the first month. But that should have been a lesson to me. Never do business with her. I learned that the hard way throughout all these years. So I went away to college, started paying a mortgage. She had got a car in her name. I ended up paying the car off in a year and a half because she kept complaining after like the first couple months. I was paying the car notes payments, but she wanted the car to be paid off. She was tired of it being in her name. And I never seen her pay a car off in my whole life. I ended up paying her cars off. I was sending money back home. To this day, she claims I didn't send no money back home, but my child's mother was the one I was sent to send the money. Now they're buddy buddy and against me at the moment. I paid for my mother's mortgages. She sold homes, told me I couldn't stay in them, and I didn't get no money back. Lied about money coming in to get money from me, like as if she was struggling. And then still remodel her new home. Didn't get no money back. Said I didn't do anything. Said her ex-husband did it. And I got her house done in a week, but her ex-husband spent 2 months and almost lost her home. So I know she has a problem. She's not addicted to drugs, to my knowledge, but she has drug addicts similarities. Her ex-husband was a crackhead. Her father was he had a substance abuse. I wouldn't say an issue or a problem because he's to my knowledge he's in full control, and to my knowledge he took care of his family. It's just that people didn't respect that he would get high and everything was taken care of. So her brother's a crackhead. Another one, her brother is he died of alcohol poisoning. He is an abusive alcoholic. So it's a history of trauma and addiction. She has her own issues with her mother, my grandmother, with situation happened with her, my grandmother's ex-husband, and her, my mother. I guess it was a relationship that shouldn't have been. Um, and she takes out whatever my grandmother did to her. She said my grandmother took her money, did this, did that. So she went to the military, did this, did that. And I never understood if you said she did all this thing to you, why are you lying? Because I wouldn't know my mother was lying about the money until after the fact, and she would like go irate and talk to me crazy and be like, "That's why you need me. That's why you ain't got nothing." Woo. And I'd be like, "Cause I gave you a couple thousand to take care of some bills, and you don't know where I live at. Doesn't mean I don't have anything." Then it's like you thought me giving you some money was my last because it would have been your last. And now you're trying to kick me when I'm down. It took me almost a decade to actually understand her whole motive is to try to kick men while they're down. Even if she asks them for something and they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart, she makes you regret it because she's not going to say thank you and she's not going to say sorry. Um, One thing in this world, we can't get time back. I thought me looking out for my mother and taking care of her, even though she had a job, she was manager at the post office. She couldn't afford her bills for some odd reason, but she was paying another man's child support, I found out, from that man um, and my grandmother. I found out my mother was paying men or paying for things for men just to keep their attention. Um, and when I told her no and asked my other brothers for money or certain things, she always got upset or got depressed or try to find ways to try to threaten law enforcement to change my mind about giving her money or not, or the fear of trying to get me in prison some type of way will make her be in control of me. I don't know. She didn't try so many different things. It's to the point where now she has my own family against me, and it's just sad um, that on her end because I done did a lot, made a lot of money, and seen a lot of people turn their back on me. Even women that I love then did things, and shit, I had a kid with a woman that I spent almost 10 years with, turned her back on me, lied on paper. So I'm not surprised with my mother. It's just a sad shame that she didn't did all of this. She didn't did things to me, and I'm the only one that helped her out of all these years. Only man. She didn't marry men that didn't help, that didn't do anything for her. So I don't feel bad. She has to deal with that. I just can't get the time back that I could have put into myself. That's the only thing that kinda doesn't sit well with me. But the future that I can put into myself enlightens me and excites me and makes me appreciate who I am. It helps me appreciate the journey I went through, because if I didn't, I would have thought of these people in a different light instead of the real reality of the truth. And these people are really in the dark. They don't have a light. That's why I never shined on them. They're insecure with themselves and they want to bring you down because they can't do what they want. And they don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to do what you want. It took some time, but I figured it out. So if I don't speak to my mother again, I wish I will. If I do speak to her again, I'm just gonna listen, because I know she has a lot to say, a lot that has nothing to do with anything. And her issues now with me is that I don't want to listen to her about her dating or trying to date, or she wants my opinions about why older men date younger women and things that doesn't benefit anything. And then she expects to ask me for money and ask for things, and then I'm like, let's start a business in your name since you're a veteran. We can use the veteran portal to do veteran business with government contracts. I ended up setting everything up, and then she didn't call to verify it to be in business and just shut everything down based on her feelings. I said I was gonna pay her house off, my house off, and her a new car. All she had to do is through the money made from the business, and all she had to do was call. It was 90. The portal says 99% complete. Need verification. I couldn't verify, even though I'm part owner. She didn't have to do anything. She was a silent partner. She didn't even have to invest any money. I ended up getting credit for the business, a lot of things of that nature. She just said she didn't want to be in business, didn't want to do anything anymore. After the fact that I helped her get her VA benefits, reading and comprehending and consulting her to go through the VA. After me getting her workman's comp benefits through the United States Postal Service, of me showing her what's the procedure, explain to her what the doctor can do and what the post office can't do by having workers' comp. So I consulted her for almost 2 years so she can have retirement benefits, so she don't have to ask me for money out of pocket, so she can get money from and not work. So in the midst of all of this, she was trying to figure out how I do what I do, and she complained about, oh, you just go on YouTube, you just do this, and I'm like, well, go do it. She never could do it herself. When it comes to website building, starting a business, opening bank accounts, getting business funding, she would get aggravated and she would have to call me to see the next process or go step by step. She would be upset that she needed me to comprehend everything. And at the end of the day, I was the one who is creating the new income, not you, not her. So I never understood her resentment or anger, but it came to realization that she was worse than my younger brother. That's where he gets it from. Her envy, his envy came from her genetics. Um, and that's what I found out about my mother, that she was very envious of my success. Um, and I also noticed she never supported. She would talk around it, but never supported. Nothing was ever concrete. So, yeah, this is the revealing truth of my mother. Um, I hope this enlightens people that goes through what I go through or went through what I went through. Just focus on you and your family that you create, no one else.